Alright, with number 3, we're looking at a multiplication problem, and we're saying what two numbers multiplied together would give you 24. Right, so we're looking at the list of choices here, and maybe I just kind of start multiplying some things together. Now 20 and 2, or 20 and 4 rather, 20 plus 4 is 24, but that dot is telling us multiplication, so we're thinking times. We're thinking times here. And so if I take a look, I see, well, 6 and 4 kind of jump out to me. So let's see, if I said 6 and 4, 6 and 4, does that make 24? Well, there's a way I can prove this. And this is something, if you don't have your times table memorized, that's okay. As long as you can do what we call skip counting. And what skip counting says is that what 6 times 4 really means is that it means take 6 and add it 4 times. So if I count 6, 12, 18, 24. So maybe I didn't even have that memorized, but if I was able to skip count, then I was able to come up with the answer. You notice, by the way, that it says use repeated addition. So that's what multiplication is. Multiplication is said to be repeated addition. Repeated because you keep doing it over and over, and what you're doing is you're adding. You're not multiplying, by the way. So don't do 6 times 6 times 6 times 6. That's something else. That's an exponent, right? So don't do that. We're using repeated addition. Now, so what's the other way I could have looked at this instead of saying 6 and 4? Because then you're like, well, what if I would have put 4 and 6? Would I get the same answer? Well, so let's see what 4 times 6 means. 4 times 6 means take 4, which is the first number, and then add it that many times. So I would add it 6 times. So that's 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Can I check to see if my answer is right? Sure. 4 plus 4 is 8, plus another 4 is 12, 16, 20, and 24. So that was a way for me to check that indeed my answer is correct. Now, again, you notice the problem's there twice because there's 2 possible answers. Again, for your purposes, you only need to select one of them. But again, we just want you to see that there actually is more than one answer oftentimes possible. So we tried 6 and 4. We're looking for another combination. I see 12. What if we said 12 and 2? Let's see if we said 12 and 2. Well, so again, let's test this out. So what this says is it says take 12 and write it out 2 times. Well, 12 plus 12 is equal to 24. All right, does it work the other way around? Let's see. 2 times 12, got to write this out. It says take 2 and write it out 12 times. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Now you're sitting there saying, like, well, why would you write all that out? Well, yeah, it's a fair question. Why would you write all of it out? Well, so hopefully you appreciate that's why we use multiplication. So instead of saying 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, that takes too much. It takes too much time, too much to write. So it's much simpler for us to say, oh, well, just take 2, and you added it up 12 times. 2 times 12, which would give you 24. So that's showing you really kind of 2 big ideas with multiplication. One, that it's just repeated addition. And the other thing is to say that multiplication is what we say is commutative. Commutative. And we'll put multiplication. And what that basically means is that the order doesn't matter. And so you can clearly see that, because if we did 12 times 2, we got 24. 2 times 12, we got 24. 6 times 4, 24. 4 times 6, 24. So we see that the order doesn't matter there. The way you can remember commutative is you think if someone says, I commute to or from LA, right? They're talking about they travel. And so if you think about commuting, if I were to commute to LA, it doesn't matter if I took the 101 and I said, you know what, I'm gonna see the ocean on my way home, so I took the 1. Either way that you go, you get to the same place. So that's kind of the idea with the commutative property, is that either way you go, you're going to get the same answer. Now, not everything is commutative. Addition and multiplication are, but as we'll see maybe a little bit later on here, division and subtraction are not commutative. All right, so go ahead and pause the video now. Try 3, 2 in the middle. Again, there's going to be 2 answers that are possible. Just pick one of them, and then try 3, 3, and we'll come back and check the answers. All right, so let's see what you got. 3.2 in the middle. One possibility would be 3 times 6, or 6 times 3, which would give you 18. The other possibility would be 2 times 9, or, as we said, it's commutative, 9 times 2, which would give you 18 as well. And again, make sure on your paper, by the way, show the full work. I'm just kind of circling the answer so you can check your work, but we should see the full work all worked out here. 3.3, 2 possibilities to multiply to 32, 8 times 4, or 4 times 8, and then 2 times 16, or 16 times 2. Hopefully you chose to write out 8 times 4 instead of 16 times 2, right? So you're writing out 2 that many different times. So again, we see the value of multiplication, one of the values. All right, so we'll go ahead and continue to the next problem.